and here we go. Jessica, you know what? I had the same problem this morning. I had downloaded that thing, that webcam thing you've got right there, and it totally screwed me up this morning. It took over and it wouldn't let me do anything else. It was so frustrating.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Usually for me, it's just like a 3-second delay when it's starting up, and then it leaves me alone.
No, it didn't work for me. Your name came, and hi, Greg. Thank you so much for joining us so early. So Jessica, your name came up yesterday. We are working on a conference up here, and I'm part of the conference committee. And your name came up, and I said, I don't think she's coming up from Florida.
Wow, I'm famous.
Yeah, you are famous. So that's kind of fun, you know, and I like to say famous, you know, in the Facebook accounting world.
I guess that's a way to put it, yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't get to travel to conferences. I only get to attend the virtual ones.
Right. Well, it's fun. We have a guy up here, and Brad, you know Thomas, of course. So we have a guy up here, and he called it a QB level celebrity, is what he called it. And I thought that was fun. So it looks like I thought Tiffany might jump right in here. I don't know where she went. She was on the call a second ago, and anyways, it's going to go up. And I was just going out. Let's just get rid of that. I was just going out on a limb that it might be fun to do something different, and we can see how that worked out for me. So yesterday when I tested it, the Facebook Live thing worked. So Greg.
Yo.
Hello. We can't hear you very well.
Well, it is 6:30 in the morning, so I'm not trying to be super loud with everybody still asleep.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Right. Yeah. Because you got 3 kids or something, right?
We got, you know, they're getting older now, and so I don't even know who's here today.
Oh, okay. That's funny. Yeah. Oh, good. Hi, Michelle. Sorry for the confusion this morning. I really just went out on a limb, and in the moment thought it would be fun to do a thing about ClickUp because I keep hearing about it and I don't know. And yes, I could go to Seth's videos, and I'm sure they're fantastic. But yesterday I was about to just goof around on the ClickUp site, just see what they have to say about it. And I thought, why am I doing this all by myself? Hi, Tiff. If I am going to actually check out an app and I'm fresh to it, why the heck wouldn't I do it with a few friends in tow? So here we are. And this is where I started to have trouble with sharing my screen. So in 2 seconds, Greg, I'd love to hear more about your experience with it, because of course we're about to, so you guys can see my ClickUp screen here?
Yes.
But Greg, I would love to have like a discussion with you about what some of your favorite features are, and then ask you some questions about it.
Okay, well, let me start out by letting you know that one of the first stumbling points that I came across was determining where to place my clients in the hierarchy of ClickUp. So would you mind if I share the screen for a minute?
Absolutely. Have at it. This is great.
Let me take it back over. So let me see if you should be looking at my screen now.
Yeah.
All right. Let me move some windows here. So on...
Hi, Diane. Sorry, Greg.
No worries. So in ClickUp, you have multiple layers of hierarchy. It starts out at the highest level are the different teams. And I've found that it's best for me to work within one team. But there are different ways and reasons why you might want to configure a different team. For example, Seth and I have a team with a few others in our group. We just call it Nerds Unite. We don't really use it. It was more for demo purposes, but it, excuse me, it was a way of differentiating different groups of people.
Okay, so can I ask a quick question? Because that I don't really have the picture of what that means. So would the team be, could it be anything? So it could be your employees. I know we're not allowed to use the word employees, but we can't use your team for your team.
Well,
Is it your employees? Would it be a group that includes clients, or is it, I mean, you and Seth have a project going on there, so I guess.
yeah. So look and think of it like me and Seth might have a team, and then me and you might have a team with Brad and Jessica,
Yeah,
and we might have another team for the workflow watering hole.
right.
Okay, and so these different teams could be set up for various purposes. And I'll be honest, I haven't done any experimentation beyond just doing my own team.
Okay.
But what I have done experimentation with are these next levels. So once you're under teams,
Yeah.
let me just go through the hierarchy. You're at the team level, then you have spaces, then you have projects. Under the projects, these are the individual projects. You have lists, and inside of the lists, that's where you put your individual tasks.
Okay.
And you can even have subtasks within that.
Okay, so the subtask could almost be the best practice.
Well, it depends on how much, as we started to coin, how much area you want in your book, so, or in your project list.
Okay.
So
I guess a task could also be, I don't know, reconcile 5 bank accounts, and then you list the bank accounts, and then could you have, how many levels of subtasks can you have?
well, let's test it out, right?
Okay.
Task, and then we open up the task, and we can put, I believe it's just one level. So rec bank 1, rec.
Okay.
2.
Okay, you can add attachments though. That's fun. Like,
You can add attachments. So you can assign these to different
yeah.
people.
Okay.
So I can assign that one to me. I can assign this one to Bailey.
Right.
And there's so many features of this product that it makes it's almost overwhelming the first few times you're into it. I was probably in the product for 2 or 3 weeks before I started to feel comfortable.
I love the dependencies. So you can't do something until something else has happened.
Right. You can say, okay, I can't rec until I do the bank feed.
Okay, cool. Okay, until you check AR and AP. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, one of the things that I debated over for a time is how granular did I want to get? Did I want to put reconcile bank number 1, or bank feed number 1, bank feed number 2, reconcile 1, reconcile 2? And I could have done that, but at a certain point, you want to be granular about it, but you also don't want to overwhelm your ability to check statuses on things. You want to see overall how far we're behind, if we're behind, or just to be able to stay on top of things. If you've got a task list with 872 tasks, you can do 872 tasks in a day, but to sit there and click through each one might be a little bit more cumbersome than it's worth.
Okay, I have another question then when we're looking at that. Then there's add a checklist.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like a sub list of the tasks then?
I haven't played with this at all, to be honest with you, to be able to test it out. But let's call this a test chat.
Okay. I love that you can put attachments in though, because as you said, how granular do you want to get, right? But you could put the attachments with the best practice in. That's sort of like arrow that you're linking to the some of the best practice stuff as well. Can you put a link in, or it's just a copy?
No, you can absolutely put links in almost every.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Awesome.
In almost every box, you can do that. So I'm in dark mode right now, and by default, it comes out in the light mode. which looks like that, but that
Oh,
was a little
okay.
bit too much on my eyes.
Yeah.
So I switched it to that, and it looks kind of cooler to me anyway.
Okay.
So once we're back in here, we can do that dependency thing.
Yeah.
But you can also set dates and target dates and priorities as well.
Sure. Can I ask you? Well, I'm just going to ask you.
Yeah, just go ahead.
Can you? So let's say, and don't tell anybody I said this, because I truly believe in you check off the work as you do it, not check off the work after you've done it. So, but can you check off a number of tasks at once, or is it simply click, 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 click?
So another thing to bear in mind is that this task status doesn't just have to be off and on. You
Okay.
can set multiple layers. Like in my production environment, my normal routine, I have started or in progress or something like that. Then I have waiting on client, waiting on
Yeah.
Greg, and then I also had a reference flagged as well.
Okay.
And then you can finally do closed.
Okay. Cool.
Where was I going
So
with?
when,
Oh,
yeah. Sorry.
those subtasks. So, and this also links to the dependencies as well. You can set things to where you can require it to not be able to be ticked off until the requirements are done,
Love that.
or you can set it so that if you click off the parent, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
if you click off the parent, you can allow it to mark all the subtasks done.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me.
I like
I'm
that.
so sorry to interrupt. We have some people on the chat that are watching from mobile and they can only see Kellie's screen. Kellie, is it possible that maybe you can stop sharing so they can see Greg's screen?
She's not sharing.
She actually is. It's showing him the drop down as an option, and those that are on their iPads cannot choose.
Thanks, Jessica. Thank you for monitoring the chat. How do I get through my day without you?
I'm so sorry. I didn't want to interrupt, but I saw several people couldn't see what we were talking about.
I got you. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that, guys. Carry on, Greg.
All right. So we were talking about the subtasks and being able to tick them off either one at a time.
Yep.
So let's say we had this task with Rec 1, Rec 2. If we mark it done here, okay, so I thought I was going to tick off both of the subtasks, but it doesn't look like it did it. But the overall task is done. And so if we come out here to look at the task list, the task itself is gone, right?
Yeah, okay.
So
I got you.
So if we wanted to see closed items, we can open up our filter, and there's that task that we were just working on. This is some test stuff I was doing the other day.
Okay. I'm going to ask them actually down in the, actually, could you turn it into a board for me too?
A board?
Yeah. I just love to see the different views. I'm a super visual person. Okay.
Sure.
Yep.
So
and can you move those boards around then? Yeah, right?
So you can, yeah. So let's say that we, where's the filter status? So now, we forgot to do that. Boom, we just slide it right over to the open status.
Cool. I have another question. Does it have templates for emails and such? What does it have for communication stuff?
So this is not really an email communication tool, but there are tons of bells and whistles when it comes to your Gmail, for example.
Okay.
You can.
So you can integrate with Gmail, but you can't email from within a task list. It doesn't have actions. It's just got stuff you check off.
To my experience, yes, that's accurate.
Now, can you have templated emails in there at all?
Well, you could use this for a lot of different purposes. So One of the things that I've started to utilize it for is, let's say we've got a project here. So for example, I might call this project reference.
Mm-hmm.
Or here's an actual use case. I have a listing of my referral links.
Okay.
And so I might have one in here for Gusto. I might have another list here for T-sheets. And one of the things that I found is, at first I was thinking, okay, well, let me just put the Gusto link as a task under here. But then I started thinking, well, what if somebody accidentally comes in and ticks that as closed, and then it's gone from your open view? So the way around that is that we have this list details section. And so I would come in here and put my referral link in there.
Okay.
And then that's going to basically be permanently attached to each list. And to that end, you could put your templates if you wanted to. But again, this is not a, if this makes any sense, it's not a communication tool. This is a collaboration tool.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's a really good way of putting it. Thank you. Can we do something real quick? I'd like to just go to the actual demo on the ClickUp site just to take a look at the high level of it.
Let's do that in 1 second, and this
Okay.
this is kind of crucial, because one of the things that all of us in our 97 and up group struggled with is where do we put our clients? Do we put it at the spaces level?
Right.
Or do we put it at the project level? If you follow along with the suggested use case of an accounting firm, and there's lots of articles in there on how to set it up for different industries.
Mm-hmm.
Their help staff is really great.
Okay.
One of the things though is that I started down the track of putting each of my clients as a project.
Right.
And then doing the task list underneath that. But it was a little bit too constrained for me as far as what I could put underneath each as lists and tasks.
Okay.
So what I changed up to was putting my clients in the spaces category. And then underneath each client, I can do one project called monthly bookkeeping. I can do another project called SEO marketing. I can do another project called anything else that we might be doing for that client that doesn't necessarily fit inside of the.
Mary Beth joining the video.
Oh, Diane, could you mute?
There we go. Okay.
Okay. So go ahead and I'm going to stop sharing then and go ahead and show the demo account.
Yeah. Okay. So actually, Greg, we'll come back to that spaces in a minute. Actually, let's do the overview, the demo, and then I would like to know what you were saying about that spaces thing. Let's just do this. Oh wait, don't be a dork, Kelly. Hang tight. I didn't share my screen yet. Hang on. Let's. Sorry, guys. Hang tight. Let's do that. And so let's just take a.
So is this the 35-minute demo?
Hold on. Hold on. Can anybody hear that?
No. Yes.
Okay. And you're right. That's the 25-minute one. And I do apologize. We can't hear that at all, right? Anybody?
No.
No. Right. So that's kind of too bad. Way to go, Kel. Okay, and now I'm stuck. I am just having one of these days. Okay. So carry on then, Greg. Show me about the spaces. La, 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 la.
No worries. So let me get back to sharing here. So the way that ClickUp talks on their website about setting up an accounting firm would be that you would have maybe your bookkeepers in one space, your HR in another, and it's to me it seems kind of geared towards larger firms, and it can absolutely be used for larger firms.
Oh, okay. I
But I'm
wanted
a
to know
smaller
about
guy.
that. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah, I wondered about that. Okay, sorry.
So for me, there was no use to have a space for my, uh, facilities management. There was no use to have a board or a space for human resources. That different departments in my firm don't exist. It's just me and Bailey. So it made more sense for us to put the clients into individual spaces, and then under each space you can set up different projects. And so let me just go into one here that I'm
Yeah,
kind
because
of
I'd love to know how much information you can put into each one of those spaces.
well, you can put in whatever you want, and it's very configurable. So this is this client's weekly bookkeeping tasks. These are the tasks for cash flow projections. This is that reference info section that I was telling you about.
Yeah.
Um,
Can you invite your client into that space then? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I haven't done that other than one client here. And so here we put future project ideas. We have weekly meetings with them to go through different.
Okay. Sorry, I'm going to ask another question because I'm not sure.
Just fire away.
Okay. I'm not seeing anything resembling a CRM in there though.
You can configure it. There is a help article on configuring it, and a very good video on configuring it to be a CRM. But again, remembering that it's a customer relation manager. It is not a customer communication manager.
Right, but so you can configure it so that sort of front facing would be the important information you need to know about that client?
Yeah. If we do the quick, how to use ClickUp as a CRM, create a space called CRM, use project and list for project called client information, add task title with your client name and relevant details in the task description. So that's very basic level. Option 2 is if you don't want to create a whole new space, you can just create one CRM project within your project management space, and that's going to be over here, and you would just put in a new project and call it CRM.
Got you. Okay.
Another thing to bear in mind is that we've been doing this for 20 minutes here. We could easily spend another 8 hours going through all of the features that exist, and I'm sure that I haven't even learned all of them. I don't even know what the hell a cube is.
It's a really bad movie here in Canada.
And so using this is another useful, but one that I haven't worked on yet, item is setting up custom fields. So that in this view, I don't know if I can make this a little bit bigger. In this view, list view, you can put like whether it's a hot lead or a warm lead or a cold lead, the size of the company, the phone number. You can custom configure this so that it looks even more like a CRM.
Okay,
it's
so
not by default a CRM.
Right, I got you. But you can almost turn it, but it's up to you to turn it into one.
Yes, and to that end, that's what I kind of did with my reference section. It's not really a reference section, it's not really, it's not meant to be set up as a reference tool, but once you're in here, this is what I'm saying. You can just set the link so that I can just quickly get to their process map.
Got ya. Okay.
All right. Yeah, and I haven't fully gone through here. I was just looking here, and it does have a Zapier integration.
Right.
Attached forms submitted by clients directly to your task and list. So you set up a Zap that when somebody fills out your Google form, it'll automatically throw the attachments and whatnot into that CRM list.
Got ya. Okay. Yeah,
And
I've heard
there's
this
just
called Zapier.
so many different items. I tend to live in the list view so
Right.
far, but again, I've only been using it for a month and a half to 2 months now, and I'm still feeling my way around how I like to see things. I tend to if I'm checking up to see where we are in the process of things, is looking at all of my spaces all together,
Right.
and then sorting by due date, so that I can see, how we're progressing on all of the tasks that we're doing. And another huge thing that we haven't even scratched the surface on in this call is the recurrence of tasks. So let me go back over to my test environment.
Sure. I like that you called it test environment. It's
So-
I like the word environment is, I just haven't, you don't see that a lot around in some of this. Anyways, carry on.
So some people call it their sandbox, if you will. That's
Yeah. Fun.
another
Okay.
term. I just call it a test environment.
Yeah.
But the other thing is I have this client template. This client template is kind of the basic overview silos, if you will, of projects that I want to have set up
Right.
under each client. And so each client is going to get set up with an inbox and a general kind of bucket. And then here's the standard list of monthly bookkeeping tasks that I run through.
Sure.
And then we have a section for cash flow projections. Haven't built that one out yet. Bill pay is kind of custom configurable for each client, 1099s. And then I have the onboarding and a list of apps that I want to configure for each client as I bring them on board.
Okay.
And then we've got the reference info section. The reference info section is, again, that section where I would provide a link to their Google Drive. I would provide a link to their Smartsheet workspace. I would provide a link to their Nimble record.
Right. So all they have to do is bookmark their ClickUp login, and then they can get to everything.
Well, who's they?
The client.
I wouldn't necessarily give them access to this information.
Oh, okay.
This is for me internally, and that's the primary goal of what I'm doing. It was for that other one that I was showing you that I have entered. I have given them access to their project. What was it called? Ideas for future ideas or something like that.
Yep.
So that they can go in there and just jot notes of what we want to talk about in the future on our weekly calls.
Okay, got you.
And so the concept that I was going to try to show you here was that I have this one set up as a client template because I'm still new to this and I'm still building it out. As like for example, just the other day, I added this section called tax ID because I noticed that I was adding this tax ID section under every customer because I only had the first 4. Under every client, I was adding this tax ID reference section. And so I was like, oh crap, let me go into the client template.
What's your language?
Sorry. Oh shit.
Carry on.
I would go into the client template, update this,
Yeah.
and then resave that as a template. And that's also key, is that you resave it, right?
Right.
And it's easy enough to click here and save as template.
Got ya. Okay. I like that. Cool.
But what I was coming in here, the recurrence. So let's say you got a monthly bookkeeping task. Here's for file review, complete monthly file review. So this is going to recur every month. And the settings here are so robust and voluminous, I could spend another hour and a half going through all of the configurability
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
of this.
Right.
But this is kind of make or break for us as bookkeepers. And I'm still playing with it, but I've kind of settled into a little bit of a routine here when I'm configuring these tasks. So this one might occur every month on the 7th.
Right.
And I've gotten into the habit of making 4 a.m. my start time, because 4 a.m. is 7 o'clock for you all, and so in case I have any workers out on the East Coast, then that'll hit them in the morning time.
Right.
And this is how long we would recur it for, and so hopefully it never has an end date.
Right.
And then on repeat, it's either change due date or create a new task. I've gotten into the habit now of changing this to create a new task, because I like to see, if we ever fall behind, I'd like to see multiple iterations, so that if let's say we missed the reconciliation in January and we're now the 8th of February and I see 2, then I've really got to crack the whip on someone.
Right. Can it change the name? So for me, I start my workflow at when I finish the work for a client. Let's say I finished last week, I would then enable their new workflow and I would name it to the next month, so that I know what month that is. Or is it just strictly by the date that it started that you know what month it is, which would also work. I'm just so.
I do it based on the due date, which I guess could always be manipulated. Any of this stuff can be manipulated by your employees.
Right.
But, you got to have a little bit of trust and understanding of your workers, that they're not going to dick with that. And and they're going to, we have to trust that they're going to keep on top of their stuff too.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And then things really get wild when we start to get into the advanced options section. We can configure due dates, the status that we're going to open up each of these new tasks. So these this task might start out in the waiting on Greg section.
Right.
With the status of waiting on Greg. I don't know why we would want to, but that's also a configurable option. And then you come down to, do you want to create a copy of the first task, or do you want to create an option, a copy of the newest task? So let's say in January you've created this monthly file review.
Yeah.
And then there's been some dialogue that's gone on in the January.
Mm-hmm.
I've come in here and switch it so that you're creating a copy of the newest task. That way you're taking the dialogue that existed in January and copying it over to February.
Cool.
And it's kind of just going to be cumulative as we go through the year.
Yeah, I like that. I see that. Yeah.
And then you got a lot of options here. Only recur if it's been completed. Yeah. I typically don't check any of these.
Right. How could you in bookkeeping sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, one of my tasks is have I reclassified I have a ask client in QuickBooks, a current asset of ask client, and sometimes I'm just not going to be able to check that one off because I can't recategorize because they didn't get back to me on that, right? I'm the only
Well,
one with that. I'm the only one with those clients. I know that. So probably, everybody else's client gets everything to them.
absolutely, 100% of the time.
Okay,
But
cool.
that's
Well,
where
I look. Yeah, I like the tags. Actually, the tags are great. That's one of the powerful features or that I love in Jetpack too.
And
Is
this is
you know
actually a
exactly.
status.
Yeah.
Tags are different. You can tag this task. I haven't created any
I mean the
tags.
status tags. I like those. Yeah.
Yeah, but I
Cool.
just wanted to show you that there are two different things, and there's statuses, and you can
Yeah.
configure your statuses to be whatever you'd like, and you can configure them either at the um, project level,
Yeah.
or at the space level, or at the team level.
That's great.
And like I said, there's just so much robustness of this
Mm.
product that we're only just scratching the surface, and I'm sure I've only come across 60% of the use case of it.
That's cool. I mean, and I say it, and I know people hear it. And sometimes you just got to get started in one of these programs and make your way through it, right? Just start with the thing that's going to solve the biggest problem or ease your day, and then you'll get used to the app and you'll start using it in the way that it suits you.
Yeah, and for me, it took a few weeks, probably 2 or 3 weeks before I put any of just playing around.
Yeah.
Probably 2 weeks before I put anything actually live into the product. And they give you a 30-day trial, and make sure you search the internet for a discount code, because I got a year of this product for me and my employee for $102 US, which is kind of unheard of for its competitor. I was paying twice as much.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's not even an issue really. And I know money is all relative to each person, but $100 to keep yourself organized.
Right, and
Yeah.
I had been utilizing Active Collab for my previous project management, and to me it's this ClickUp is so far progressed beyond what Active Collab can do. Plus, it's half the price.
That's awesome. Okay, so I have a meeting at 12:15. No, 10:15. So 3 minutes. Actually, it's with Process Street.
That's a different product, and
yeah, for sure. Yeah, they're doing a live demo for us in the workflow watering hole, and so I'm meeting with them in a few minutes. So I have to end the video.
Let me just say that as far as utilizing ClickUp in conjunction with Process Street, you can keep your ClickUp clean because you'll have a lot of the subtask processes laid out in Process Street.
Oh, okay, cool. So you could use them in tandem. I got you. Okay.
Use them in tandem is a great idea.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
All
Well,
right.
that was a good way to end it then. Greg, I can't thank you enough for just like jumping in there this morning. And
No worries. I had to wake up sooner or later.
Okay, and I'm going to post this on our Facebook group. Hopefully that's all right with you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Kelly.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
See y'all. Have a great day.